Yo, what's going on? My name is Drunky.
I'm the Flood.
And welcome to the Fortnite Update, where we talk about all the news, esports, and patch notes related to Fortnite. This is episode 20 of the podcast. Is this episode 20?
I think we're episode 20.
This is episode 20 of the podcast. It's January 3rd, 2019. Let's start the update.
Yeah.
Flood, this is the first podcast of the new year. First off, to you, Flood, and to everyone in the audience, Happy New Year's. Hope you guys had a beautiful New Year's. If you guys missed the event for Fortnite inside of the game, it was actually like really hysterical. They had big fireworks. The fireworks like formed a llama. It says 2019. It's everything you want fireworks to be, but we can't because we live in the real world and it just sucks here.
Yeah. The disco ball coming out of cracking out of the very top of the sky, and everyone started dancing. Like everyone on cue started dancing in the game. It was really cool, and they did it every hour on the hour, which was neat because it's midnight somewhere. That was cute.
How romantic are they over Epic, man? Like just
they're the cutest company. Like, you know what? For the good, the bad, and the ugly, they're the cutest. I will tell you that.
All right, well, let's talk about what got released while we were off for New Year's, whatever, in between the cast. The boombox has been introduced to the game. This is a purple item that can be found on floor spawns, vending machines, loot crates, pretty much everywhere in the game you can find the boombox.
Yeah. When
you drop this sucker, it starts off with a 1x1 radius, breaking all its builds, and as it increases and pulsates outwards to, I think it's like a 4x4 radius by the time it finishes. It
feels like 1,000 by 1,000 radius. It's hilarious how big it feels.
So everything built fresh within this radius while the boombox is pulsating will be absolutely destroyed. Flood, what do you think about the boombox being introduced into Fortnite?
Did not see this one coming. I know that when we knew that there was a boombox asset, some people speculated it would work like a campfire, but for shields. That was kind of interesting. Did not expect it to be dynamite on steroids, just like permanent explosive dynamite. Does no damage to the player, but like you cannot build within it. Like you try to build, and with every pulse, as you say, like the pulses come quick too. Like you might block a bullet. Like it's not gonna let your build gets demolished. I'm blown away by how wide the radius is. As I say, it seems massive. 2 boomboxes takes out any given tower and tilted.
Yep.
That's all you need. 2 boomboxes, and that's what you pick them up in stacks of. It feels like a massive troll item. Like just a massive troll item. It's so, oh God. It's sort of horrible, but I'm also having a ton of fun with it. Like, especially early game, I'll like, oh, you're gonna hide from me? Throw down the boombox and just like wait with my shotgun ready. Like I'm about to drop down on you. I don't know when, I don't know where, but you're in here and I'm gonna get you. Like you can't hide from me. I got my boombox, turbo bass to the top.
The boombox.
But it's such a troll. Like it just feels like such a troll item. I like that. Unlike dynamite though, it's the one thing I will say that's interesting about it is that it doesn't do damage to players. Whereas dynamite, like you can stack your dynamite throws to take out build and also kill the player with the explosion. Whereas the boombox, it does the same thing of getting rid of the structures in build and forces a ground battle.
Yeah.
But it doesn't do that. You can't instantly kill someone with it, which is interesting. I think between this and the LTM that we had, which was like that ground battle LTM the other day, I feel like they're trying to like push us back. They're trying to regress us back to like a gunfight. You know what I mean? They're trying to really take away that build fight mechanic. They're like, it seems to do everything they can to try to take away the build fight mechanic, which is unfortunate because it's a really unique thing about Fortnite. But I don't know. I feel like they're trying to force the ground fight. Where you land on the boombox, I have a feeling I know what you're going to say, but let's hear it.
I absolutely love it.
What?
No, I'm just joking. I absolutely hate the boombox. It's an awful item. People always tell me like, well, I don't know what Fortnite's going to, or Epic's going to do because honestly, like they're just going to run out of ideas. All of you people are completely wrong. They are never going to run out of ideas because what the boombox shows us is that like there is a depth of like item pools that we just haven't touched yet. And what is clear is that Epic does not want you to have sustained builds in this game. Like you said, they want the ground game type of, fighting, gunfighting in the game. But for me, the boombox is just like the most aggressive attempt to not let people build yet. And I just don't like it, man. Like what separates Fortnite from other games is the building. Why is it that Epic continuously keeps going after the builds in this game? If you think about, they added the quad launcher, the boombox, the dynamite, the planes, the quad crasher, the grapplers. How many things are in the game at this point? And just to kind of like counter builds.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like it is a thing kind of as a gimme to people who can't build in this game, more of I would say casual gameplay users.
Sure.
And at what point do we stop just like straight up like catering to them, like overwhelmingly catering to them and like not and like giving us a little bit, for the people who are a little bit more hardcore?
Is it about catering to casuals, or is it about forcing the pros, the really hardcore guys? Is it just about kneecapping them? You know what I mean? Like, which I guess it's the same thing, I suppose. But you know how some games where you get like that core group, like if you jump into a game late, there's no way you can compete because there's guys that are so entrenched that they are going to be gods no matter what. Is it about kneecapping that to try to prevent that from happening so that it's always somewhat accessible to new people? Or is it about making sure that new people always have, I don't know, like it's such a weird, I don't know what they're trying to do, to be honest. Like I'm not 100% sure what they're trying to do, but it always seems like they're combating against builds. And I do think you need to do something to keep builds balanced, because if you're a good builder, you will win a lot of the games just by nature of that if there's none of these items. And
I can tell you one way to balance builds in this game very quickly, and that is to take away turbo building. Ever since turbo building was introduced in this game, we've been on this pretty steep incline where like everybody can all of a sudden just build extremely quick without a lot of skill gap involved in it, and just get some ridiculous builds down. And now we're introducing all these items to kind of counter that meta where like even players who have kind of no business being able to put up a 1x1 as fast as they can do it because of turbo builds, right? Because they do that and then they miss like every shot, right? They're just not great players. And so we're in a place of the game where people who aren't that great at this game can use turbo building as a crutch to really like level that or get across the skill gap. And then we got to keep introducing items to stop them from building like that. That's where I think the problem is. I would like turbo building to be taken away from this game. I remember the game before it. It was slower, yes, but it felt more like the players who could build like earned it.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. I remember end of season 2, the John Wicks, where that was the thing. Every time you saw John Wick, he was going to pop a 1x1 up a couple levels, and you'd be like, "Whoa, where'd you come from?" Because it was kind of like, "Oh, those are the sweaty tryhards." And by comparison to that, now it's just a whole other. We're playing a whole different game now.
Yeah. Another thing about the boombox is very interesting to it. This the 2 release days that we have for content patches and I guess core patch, like I don't even know what they call them anymore, is Tuesdays and Thursdays are the normal release days for Fortnite patches.
Sure.
This was introduced on a weekend morning. I believe it was a Sunday, 2 hours before the WSOE $100,000 tournament LAN was taking place. And they decided for the first time to release a brand new item on a Sunday, 2 hours before this event. I don't know, man. That was the hardest thing I've ever seen as a kind of, we're going to abuse the competitive scene to promote this game and like how weird and wild it can be.
And there's something to that which is interesting, because like when it's the official Fortnite skirmish or whatever, and they mess around with it, it's their tournament. I guess you can do what you want. It seems cruel and calculated to throw it at a tournament that's not your tournament.
Yeah.
And throw it in there, like, because I don't know if that was advertising or just being like, no, we throw the tournaments. Like that's kind of what it feels like, guys. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't love that. I don't love that move. This just seems weird. Like, why not put it out on a normal scheduled patch? Just bring it out on a Tuesday like normal. Like, why? Yeah. Why and must you insist on putting it in during a tournament?
They did this with the Infinity Blade, and now they did it with the Boombox. One thing about the Infinity Blade release of that tournament, the $1 million like Winter Royale tournament, is that was an online tournament. So if you lost it, the only cost to you is kind of your time, which, I had a problem with, because these pro players, I feel really bad for them. Like they're sacrificing a lot of their personal life, cutting holidays short to go, practice the game, not spending time with their families.
Absolutely.
Epic throws this at them. This one, on the other hand, was taking place in California. It was a LAN event. There are people who flew from Europe to play in this. There are people who flew from the East Coast, people driving there, like who, spent a lot of money to get there. The prize pool wasn't that big. You basically had to get third place to make your money back if you flew in for this thing from the East Coast, right? Like it was a steep prize pool that it wasn't that worth it aside from being able to compete. So it was a cost. And then this got introduced into it that completely shifts the meta. Oh man, like that's a rough one, dude. It's a rough one for me.
It just feels rough. Yeah. It just feels, yeah. It's not nice. It just doesn't feel nice. I don't know.
And like, I understand the Epic doctrine of like Fortnite is a constantly evolving game, and we feel like competitive should like highlight how players react to this constantly evolving thing. I guess I understand that a little bit, but like, how are people going to adapt when they have barely played the game and can barely
give us some sense of continuity, which even just would mean bring it out on a Tuesday. Like that alone, we know at least that way Tuesdays are when crazy stuff might happen. At least we know that, like give us some semblance of continuity. That would be great. I think, and again, that's not even for me. Like I'm a non-pro player. The boombox comes in on a Wednesday or Tuesday. It does not affect me, but it does affect these guys, and in a really unfortunate way, I think. Doesn't make them look great. Does not make them look great.
No, because then these players look like they're worse than they are. And like, they got careers on the line because of this stuff. And
the more they get fed up, the less that, like, if you're using these as advertisements for new items and how players are going to adapt, eventually these players will get fed up and stop. And then you're not advertising anything.
Yeah. Let's move away from the professional tournament of WSOE and move kind of into a more casual tournament setting, the Pop-Up Cups.
Yeah.
Where did they go?
What? I was so sad.
Pop-Up Cups, Flood?
I played a duo cup one night. The next day I was logging in. I was all excited. I'm like, today's going to be a solo cup. That'll be fun. I'll do that. I logged in. I was like, there's what? The next one is Fortnite Friday. What? Why do I have 2 days of no cups? And then I guess they're just gone after that. I don't understand. We talked about this a little bit already, and ourselves off stream or off camera. And I think that the pop-ups have been an experiment in doing a ranked mode. And so I am, in my heart of hearts, desperately hoping we're about to get a ranked playlist. Please. Because without the pop-ups, I feel like there's a little bit of a lull right now for me in Fortnite. I still played solos a whole bunch all night long and had a great time and actually had some fun. But it definitely feels more casual, and it definitely feels less engaging for me. I need to be ranked. Like, I want competitive. I want to see where I'm moving. I want to see what the grind is. You know what I mean? I want to see, I want something that I'm achieving with every game.
Yeah.
And I can go to Fortnite Tracker and I can go check out my KD and that stuff, but put it in the game. Give me something in the game to show me how I'm stacking up and how I'm doing and if I can do better. And because that's what makes this type of a game fun on a repeatable basis.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm just going through motions. And even though I'm going through motions and all I'm getting is a number, give me that number. I need it. I need it to keep it interesting. Please bring it back. And also those pop-up cup rules. We all wanted pop-up cup rules in regular, and instead now we just got no pop-up cup. Oh, you're breaking my heart.
I think pretty much the sentiment from everybody who played the pop-up cup, and pretty much I haven't heard anyone who doesn't agree with this. They want those pop-up cup rules, at least some of them in the basic one. Like, just being a regular pub game, like farming has just become such a kind of a chore, and it's boring. It's like, I gotta do this, and so I don't want to. Then I run out of mats, I get annoyed, I get mad. I'm with you. I think this is a precursor and a sign that a more official ranked mode is coming, a more standardized. We're gonna do this for you, and you're gonna see where you are. Because they never announced that this thing was going to be ongoing, but they would always be like, all right, we got more tournaments coming. We got more tournaments coming. And then it was just kind of a silence and they're gone. I don't know if I just missed the tweets or the Reddit posts about these things going away. But I for one miss them because I'm like you, I need something. Just going in and pub stopping over and over just kind of feels stale at the moment. I need something to grind for. I have played hours of Overwatch. I played hours of Counter-Strike, hours of Hearthstone, anything. I play hours upon hours, and it's because it gives me something to grind for. And when I have something to grind for, it becomes much more than the game. It becomes I'm playing for the long game. And I miss it, man. I need it. I need something to grind.
And I don't know if they're personally maybe they're going against the thing that is what I personally have as an issue for me. Like when I played Overwatch, for example, I played competitive. I played almost no quick plays because I don't care. Those feel like they don't matter. So I don't know if maybe they're competing there, and it's the same thing with Dota 2 when I used to play Dota. But it just feels like I don't know if they're just going against that exact mentality. They don't want that to happen. But I want it to happen. So I don't know. Like, I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, I think you need a competitive playlist, Epic, please. I know you're listening.
And I think it really should not be placed. I think like a Fortnite rank thing should not be like based on placements. Like tournaments should be placed on placements, but I don't want to get to a place where the rank game becomes people like just sitting in a 1x1 waiting for mid game. Like I still want to be able to kind of run around and take it like somewhat casual. And I think that has to do with like making it kill base and not 100% about placements.
Yeah, I'm fine with it not being 100% about placements. I think there should be some kind of balance there. I think that the placements should matter because, again, the objective of the game is to win. And I always say this again and again, if you bush camp to get to the win, you got the win. Like, there's something to be said for that. If you can successfully bush camp and get a good win ratio with bush camping, that's amazing. Good for you. Like, no one will do that, and it's boring, but good for you.
Do the co-hosts of the Fortnite Update podcast just like cheer and give props to the bush camper?
Yeah.
Is that who I'm doing a podcast with?
You're damn right you are. Because you play the game however you want to play the game. The win condition is win. Like, be the last one alive. If you do that, then props to you for that. That's not the way I'm going to play the game
anymore. How do you just stick up for the bush camper, bro?
Dude, if they got the win, they got the win.
Oh my God.
However you're going to get the W, get the W. I'm okay with that. It's up to the game designer to make a good game that's fun and engaging and rewards people for getting that W however they're going to get it. But the fact that you can get it however you're going to get that W, baby.
All right, old bush camp and flood. Let's talk about one of the new things coming out into the game. This is a external like tournament series from Fortnite Pro League and Team Liquid have teamed up to bring us $3,000 worth of ranked solos. This is a competitive season that they're running outside of the game that you play inside the game, where you have an ELO ranking based on their algorithms. You queue up inside of their matchmaking stuff. As your ELO increases, you will unlock different matchmaking servers within their Discord servers, or matchmaking channels, I should say.
Yes.
Kind of creative way to stick a ELO ranked solo matchmaking. Very creative to me, man.
100%. And I mean, that's exactly what we were just talking about is what they're doing. Like Team Liquid and who was it? It's Procord?
Fortnite Pro League.
Fortnite Pro League, yeah. So there. And I've read this. I apologize. I'm just stumbling. But Fortnite Pro League and Team Liquid are basically addressing the issue we just discussed. And that's how badly we need it. We need outside sources are like, I know every player in our world wants this, so let's just make it because Fortnite is taking too long. And that's what I'm saying with these pop-up cups. Like, I don't know how long we're gonna have to wait for a competitive playlist. I feel like that's what's about to happen, but they need to get it in there ASAP and make it with season based, so that way they can change the rules if they need to tweak them. Like, maybe that's the problem. Maybe they're worried about that. Overwatch did that. I remember season 1 had like a crazy different numbering system, and then they just changed the whole system on the next season. Do that if you have to. Like, do whatever you need to do, but get it in there, because right now other sources are finding ways to ELO this for you. That's how desperately this is needed.
Yeah,
we need it. It needs to exist.
Full disclosure, I am part of like Liquid Media, which is part of like Team Liquid's like organization. So I say this before, I go any further, because I love what Liquid does inside of any kind of like game. Like, you don't got it. Guess what? We're going to pony up and we're going to get it done. Like, I love that attitude. That's like, this is what the people want. This is what we want, because we have pros who want to do this type of stuff, and we're going to make this stuff happen. Very creative. This is something I think the entire Fortnite community is waiting for. I can't wait to do it. My entire time when I'm streaming, I'm just going to be doing these and trying to like work on my ELO and like grind it up. Cause like, what else do I got? I'm going to be part of this. Like, I want my ELO. I want to be able to brag. I want to be like, Flood, guess what? You're sitting down there with like 20 ELO. I'm up here like 500.
You're not on the good matchmaking server yet, Flood? Oh, and
no, like, you're down there in like the bush camping. ELOs.
Settle down. Okay, I'm coming at you. My bush camping server is going to be up the top. I'm going to get the high yellow. Come at me. I never bush camp. Get out of here. No, I'm so excited. I'm definitely going to do this. Like, I can't wait to click that link. Like, I'm pumped. And as you say, props to Team Liquid for this. Like, they're filling the gap in the market right now. Like, and that's hilarious to me that they're filling a gap in the market of a video game maker that is known for their innovation. Why are they leaving this gap? What are they doing? Like, it's so insane to me that that's not there yet. And I don't know what machinations are happening behind the scenes or what's going on there, but fill this gap. props to Team Liquid for doing it, and I'm excited to play it. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Just give me something. I need a ranked mode.
Yeah, it
It
makes
should
you
be in the game though. Like, what are they doing?
Epic is like playing it close to the vest as they're known to do, and like, whew, that's a tight vest, baby. Because I have no idea what they're doing at this point when it comes to competitive play.
They need to leak a little more. They need to leak a little more. Like, stop worrying about skin leakers. How about you start leaking a little bit more about some of these game plans longer term, so that us who want to keep being excited about Fortnite can stay excited about Fortnite.
Yeah. And speaking of which, let's like talk about like a big issue for this week that we want to address, because there wasn't a lot of like patch notes and stuff coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a problem where I've actually been seeing this around from a lot of creators, watching a lot of streams. I hear this, watching a lot of YouTube videos. I hear this. And I know personally, why does Fortnite kind of feel a little bit like empty right now and a little bit like soulless when you're playing it?
Wow. Yeah. I think it's everything we just discussed, honestly. I think it's the lack of competitive feeling. I think it's the focus on, we're getting a lot more interest in like cosmetic items and fancy New Year's celebrations and stuff, which was cool. Like, don't get me wrong, I liked that, but you're focusing on the wrong parts of the game, and it feels like they're ignoring the parts of the game that we need to make it fun. Stuff like the farming feels more tedious after the pop-up cups. The planes seem to be this weird ignored issue. Like they're stalwart on keeping planes, even though the entire community is like, why do we have planes? So like, it just feels like, I think that the core of the game seems like it's getting it, and don't get me wrong, I'm sure they're paying attention, but like, it feels to us like it's being ignored. So maybe that's a communication issue from them, but it feels like that's being ignored, and so the game starts to feel dull. And it sucks. Like I don't want that feeling.
I remember when I first started playing this game, like I was blown away with how unique and how much of a brand new area they kind of carved out within the Battle Royale. And what brought me to it was like this build fighting and just the way everything moved and all the kind of fun items they had. And then as we gone on, I'm just at this place where I'm just like, what happened? What happened? Like, I want to play Fortnite again. Like at a certain point, like I just don't feel like I'm playing Fortnite that I fell in love with. And like, I don't want to say that because like, I love this game, dude. Like I wake up thinking about playing with this game, thinking about the patch notes. Like, I mean, you know, I stream it 8 to 10 hours, 6 days a week. I make a podcast about it. Like I am in love with this game, man.
Same boat.
And it's like you said, I think a lot of it has to do with a lack of satisfaction that comes, I think, largely from like the airplanes right now. For me,
the airplanes are definitely
I was at one point in this game where I almost felt like just kind of giving it up and moving on for Fortnite, and that was during the drum gun era. I'm approaching drum gun level, like just exhaustion, because if I use a plane to kill somebody, I don't feel like I work for the kill. You know, I'm gonna kill somebody as the best way I can do it. You know, the easiest way. That's just the way online gaming works. So I'm shredding people for like 90 damage before I even jump out of the plane, and I get a quick easy headshot on them. If someone like third parties me with a plane, it's exhausting. Or maybe I look up mid game to late game, and there's like 5 airplanes circling in the air.
Something deeply unsatisfying about that. You know what I mean? And that's what you need in this game like that. This is where the one pump came back and everyone felt satisfied. Like it's that satisfying feeling. You need those types of events and moments in any given match. Those satisfying feels. And the plane never feels satisfying. I like that they nerfed it. It is a lot of fun now to punish planes. Like I get a really maniacal laugh and feel like I feel really good. I'm like, oh, you're going to fly around? You're going to fly around? You think you're going to fly around in my match? And I will try my damnedest to ruin them, which sometimes, of course, backfires because people show up in third party or whatever, but that's fine. I still got my evil out and it feels good. But it's still, there's still too much. There's still too much. And I still think that one Reddit user, I think, who had the idea that you have to land planes to get redeploy, I think that was interesting. Or like they have to explode to get redeploy. Otherwise, you have to land them. I still think that was maybe that could be a good fix. I don't know. There's just...
Dude, I mean, I think first off, the amount of planes has got to go down. I don't know why, you know, we were at a point where like, I was searching for like golf carts. Like, man, I need a golf cart so I can rotate the zone. Oh, I can't find one. All right, I'm going to take some damage to rotate. Now there's 3 planes like guaranteed spawn at any one of those expedition outposts. Like it feels a little overboard to have that many plane spawns at each one of those locations. Maybe taking out 1, maybe 2, like we'll fix that problem. But right now it just feels like a little bit too much for me. Another big problem for me personally is the amount of build destruction on in-game assets. It's very frustrating for me. It's one thing to have dynamite or boomboxes destroy player builds fairly quickly, right? Because that's something I built and I can get like, countered on whatever. The amount of like buildings that are being destroyed, I'm a big tilted towers drop kind of guy. I'm dropping there like every other turn.
Super fun.
The way that these urban areas and even like retail and salty, that these places are being destroyed and opened up feels like a little excessive, man. Like I can no longer have rotations within these POIs because you can just get beamed from all the way over from nowhere.
It actually ruins the design of the POI a lot of the time.
It really
like when you
does.
take out certain elements, like all of a sudden the sightlines are completely different in that POI, and now it really changes the way you have to work in that area, and that's annoying and also aesthetically displeasing. I come at certain places, I'm like, oh, this looks like trash. Like, what's going on here?
So I think there's like this kind of like, I don't want to say like a background problem going on, because like you have this amount of destruction where you're opening up all these sightlines, and I think we're kind of in a really heavy AR era right now. In meta, where like we have the AK, which I actually believe is kind of a broken item. And then you have the Deagle, which is definitely a broken item, which I love both of them. But I know. Now you have all these like opened up sight lines and people just lasering you through all these. It
comes back to that focus on ground game, man. I feel like they're really bringing in ground game more for some reason. Like it seems like they really want gunfighting in ground game as opposed to build fights with shotguns. I don't know. Like it's.
Well, I would like to do ground game fighting and stuff, right? But I can't if, the bottom of Trump Tower is like halfway blown out and I can't have anything to hide behind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as I say, like, 2 boom boxes, you take down castle. Like that's it. That's all it takes.
So I would like the dynamite and boom boxes kind of adjusted to where they're not destroying in-game assets as hard. Maybe they, instead of having 1 dynamite, it would take 2 to blow up a wall, something like that. But the player build assets like stays the same. I would just like POIs to stay intact more, because between the boom boxes, the dynamite, and planes entering the POI like on spawn, it's like, where are the POIs gone, man? Like, where have they gone?
Yeah, it's just not my favorite. I agree, and I there's just a really big focus in the meta right now on destruction. You're 100% right, and at the same time, it's tedious to collect materials. So between the two things, it's just it feels like it's more punishing than it is fun.
Yeah, sure. So like that's my thoughts on it. I just think the game kind of feels like empty right now. It doesn't feel like it has the heart that Fortnite used to have.
It needs something. I agree, and I agree. Like, and it's so hard to put a finger on, because I'm like, I woke up this morning thinking that I'm like, man, the game just needs something. It needs a little kick in the pants. And usually Fortnite is really good at finding ways to kick itself in the pants. And I know we've got the potential upcoming drift boards next week, as that's the potential leak is next week, and that will be something. But I don't know if drift boards are going to fix this. I don't think that's I don't know. We'll see, I guess. But
fingers crossed, maybe that Uzi comes out and replaces the 6-shooter. Fingers crossed.
Oh god, yeah, the 6-shooter is such a bag of trash. What a garbage item.
I would rather get a common pistol than pick up a 6-shooter, man. Like,
I 100% agree. I literally drop it out of my inventory, and I'm not a guy like that. I like a full inventory just to be able to swap weapons easier. I drop it out of my inventory because I don't want it. And anytime I do die to it, I'm like, props to you, sir. Props to you. Well done. I'm impressed, because God, I hate that item.
Yeah. Let's end on kind of a more positive note. One thing we haven't brought up that's been going on, probably the most successful thing that's been going on within Fortnite is the creative mode. And the most talked about, overwhelming thing is Scissors' Death Run course. Have you had a chance to play through it?
I've still not done this. I've watched other people do it. I've seen clips of it. I've not done it myself. I'm terrified. Yeah. I know I'm going to get so frustrated. I should really try it.
I can't believe that this one like chorus has gotten so much attention from everybody. Like,
the hype is nuts.
The smallest creators to the biggest creators. Everyone's doing it on their streams. Everyone posting on their YouTube channels, on Reddit, trying to have the best time. This thing was like a stroke of genius from Scissors. Like, it is a brilliant, fun chorus that like has got everyone just excited to play it.
And I love that, like, as you say, it's a stroke of genius from Scissors, who's like known for, like, even previously in creative modes, they were doing like weird courses with ramps and chiller traps and stuff. Like, that's what they do. Like, that's what he's super into, I guess. And that, like, and it makes great clips, and it's really funny, and it's interesting. And now we to do this death course, like, oh, it's so cruel and so fun, and it's a new challenge. And this is the kind of stuff that I think Epic really needs to be paying attention to.
Yeah.
But yeah, creative mode is really changing the game. And actually, I will say, on the same mode of creative mode, the new block is really good. I really like the new block, by the way. I don't know if we talked about it. I don't remember the name of the person who made it, but it's a small little market town, and it is.
Starts with a B.
Yeah, I think it's like Blue something.
Bluebird, Blue something. I don't know.
Yeah, sorry about that, guy, but it's awesome.
Great
I
job.
love the tunnels. I love the little creative like underneath areas where it's like crawling through shifty shafts almost, and the weird spots they put chests, and it's a really great display of what these assets can be done with these assets. It's really dense, lots of mats, it's super fun. I love it. So creative mode again, like it's really killing it right now.
It really is, man. Which is like it's Fortnite's like an interesting game, right? Because like there's the save the world mode, the battle royale mode, now the creative mode. I think it kind of speaks about like long term what Epic wants Fortnite to be, which I don't think it dawned on me until creative mode. It's like, oh, there's going to be another mode after creative. Like they're going to have a whole other different game type that you just play with Fortnite's mechanics. And I really think that's coming down the line. Like, could it be people have always wanted or been talking about having kind of a deathmatch type of thing where it's like teams of 3 inside of an arena, like kind of an arena based game. I think that this is long-term Epic's goal with Fortnite is to have as many different modes in it as they can find success with.
And I think they just need to find ways to like make the creative mode maps searchable or easy, or maybe make a directory or something so that you can find those matches, find those things easier within the game. Because I think that the core will always be Save the World, Battle Royale, but it's just a matter of like there's all these other potential things that they can now build off of as they want. And as you say, it's the longevity thing. They want that Minecraft level of era. Absolutely. They want that time span, man. And it's admirable if they think they can get it. I hope they can, because not a lot of games can achieve that long-term level of success. Like they have been a phenomenon in the gaming world, and I'd love to see them at least to keep it up in some capacity.
10 years from now, Fortnite will still be the dominant game within the industry. And
10 years, you think?
People think that's a joke. Think about League of Legends.
Yeah, no, I generally agree. Like, I think Fortnite has all the potential. Everyone's always like, oh, it's a dead game because they did this. I'm like, yeah, that was 6 months ago. And then they just kept on rising. Like, what are you talking about, dead game? Get out of here. I agree. I don't know if 10 years it'll be the most dominant game, because I'm assuming there will still be more things coming out. But if they can stay even like solidly in the gaming world for 10 years, that's huge. Yeah. That's huge.
Yep.
And I would love to see it.
I'm serious. Like, I seen League of Legends the other day, competing with Fortnite in terms of numbers. They're bringing into the younger generation. They're only going to grow up with Fortnite and continue to play it, just like the people of their age played League of Legends. This time, 5 to 8 years ago, I think that game came out. So, same story, man.
I agree wholeheartedly, but it depends on Epic, though.
Yeah.
So
depends.
Keep listening to the Fortnite update, Epic.
All right, that's gonna do it for episode 20 of the Fortnite update. Can't believe we already made it to episode 20. Thank you guys for listening to our nonsense. We're going to be doing more to like bring new types of content to the podcast soon. We're going to try to start having guests on. So if you have anyone you'd like us to reach out to, let us know in the comment section below who we want to have on the podcast. That's going to do it for us. We'll see you guys next week for episode 21. Bye, everybody.
Jump Street.